This is a clouds weather alert.
Meteorologist Casey Cloud back here in Weather Center once again on this Monday. We're seeing storms here become severe once again. We've been posting about warnings here through the day as needed when they weren't necessarily looking as serious, but these here moving toward areas around Albany and Leesburg again. About 12 hours ago, we were on for a cluster of storms that did end up causing some damage here, and these could do pretty similar things here. So we just have to kind of keep our eyes on this type of situation here as it does impact these areas in southwest, south central Georgia. This is a severe thunderstorm warning issued about 6:15 by the National Weather Service in Tallahassee for Daugherty, southeastern Randolph, southern Lee, northeastern Calhoun, Terrell, and northwestern Worth counties. So at about 5:12, severe thunderstorms are located along a line extending from 6 miles northwest of Leesburg to 7 miles southeast of Cuthbert, moving east at 35 miles an hour. So 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts, quarter size hail possibility here. Dawson, Leesburg, Albany, Selman, East Albany, Marine Corps Logistics Base, Turner City, Walker, Sasser, over toward Stocks, Radium Springs, Forester, Lockett Crossing, Carnegie, South Albany, Southwest Georgia Regional Airport, Palmyra, Clarks Mill, and Red Rock. So another threat here of some of this weather potentially turning severe. We had some damage reports from this morning here toward areas around Lee, Doherty counties. So let me kind of run some of that information down that we got in from earlier on. First off, I see that just after 8 o'clock, we did have some tree limbs that were down blocking one of two lanes on Highway 3 at Jackson-Dairy Road around Baconton and Mitchell County. As we looked there a little later on in the timeline earlier this afternoon, there was some hail as we were getting toward the Wassissa area near the Leon Jefferson line, just fairly severe in size, it would seem. And then going back, though, before the sun came up really toward some of these areas, we were dealing with issues toward Leesburg and Albany, as I was alluding to here. I know kind of just going back and forth a little bit in our storm report system here, jumping around just a bit, but it's about just trying to give you all those details. We did have an issue where three transformers blew near the Publix in Lee County, Georgia, and then a scenario here in Worth County where 911 reported a power line down on Pearson Road near Woodcrest Road. Looks like numerous power outages in the Mitchell County EMC service area due to severe storms with down and sagging power lines. Coffee County, a tree down across Old River Road near, looks like towards Solomon Road. That was not too far away from Pridgeon. We had some more issues in Mitchell County here, just kind of some of these maybe the same reports kind of being repeated, but nonetheless, you can definitely see that we've had and hear that we've had some issues today, and we have more issues now. About 12 hours later, towards some of these similar areas, the same areas here at points. So we're looking at the Tallahassee radar, some different angles to give you different velocity views. So we are seeing a little bit of wind enhancement west of Leesburg. Though it looks like we're starting to get some rotation even on a couple scans there. This starts to come into Leesburg, maybe a little weaker on that one, but radar's covered it in the best up here. So that's something to kind of keep in mind. We'll just have to monitor things here as the situation does arise because we can't necessarily see if we're getting the circulation down toward the surface or not, or even just the circulation in general. See how clear it may be that it would actually be if you had a closer radar shot here from the National Weather Service. But again, let me go ahead and zoom back on out a little bit. We have some strong accent toward Mitchell, toward Colquitt counties. We'll have to just kind of watch this here. But as we get up again toward the north, this is where the warning is right now, a pretty wide stretch. And as we look ahead in toward the timeline, I know we had this day one risk that went up. There's a severe thunderstorm watch in play at about 9 o'clock. So let's go ahead and jump on over to our system here. I mean, we've been talking about it. I still stand by this. It's this threat here today is going to be your lower threat out of the 3 day period. I mean, so that's not what you want to hear, obviously, as we've already had quite a few issues today. But the threats are going to be going on up tomorrow and then on Wednesday, maybe even more so. So just be weather aware here. So again, so if I'm watching that pink area to about 9 o'clock tonight, maybe threat for some more organized severe weather potential. And then as we look ahead here toward that Tuesday, I'm gonna go ahead and shift back over to other computer here in just a second. You'll kind of see what I'm talking about on that second day of that work week for many of you. You'll be able to see that we do have a risk of severe weather, slight risk extending down to about Tallahassee and Lake City and going all the way up into Georgia there. The Georgia counties impacted by this threat, and we could still have, a situation where we get some storms here in the perimeter to develop across north central Florida that could still be strong and severe as well. And then as we get toward day 3, we have a hatched area. I was looking at some of our outlooks here earlier on this morning. We have a hatched area for some of the threats on day 3. So maybe some significant severe weather possible. It isn't so in this map necessarily, but that just kind of is what that means here. Double checking our outlooks here, they do and now have a hatched area for hail even tomorrow. As we've kind of been really busy here in the weather center, so just wanted to kind of double check this because we've kind of been here all day pretty much, kind of taking breaks as we can, so I haven't really gone over the outlook for tomorrow in really fine detail here until as I look here right now, I see they added a hatched area for hail from around Albany northward. So that means it could be some bigger hail is what we're talking about here for tomorrow. We're just trying to, this is your day 3 though. This is your day 2. We're just trying to get through the day right now, folks. So again, a lot going on right now because we have this day 1 risk here in play that has increased on us here a little bit. So again, let's go ahead and go back on over to the other view here. Again, we have some indicators here for strong weather. 1 northeast of Camilla, just under severe limits, but in this cluster here, I'm moving closer to Albany here over the next little bit. Hopefully, it'll kind of weaken out, and we'll be just under severe limits of the lack of coverage, take more breaks here. Maybe not have to come back on today. That'd be nice, but because it's been a busy one over the last 24 hours or so in our weather center. But again, looking toward areas of Dougherty, Randolph, Lee, Calhoun, Terrell, and Worth counties about 6:15. Some severe weather potential. Now, if you're watching from like Stark, our threat here not completely zero as evidenced by the SPC outlook. They have included areas further to the south under a 1 out of 5 risk, but it's not where the threat is expected to focus here. We'll just have to continue here though to watch all the different radar scans. Here's that coverage map that we have. I know that can be kind of helpful in these type of situations to show you what we're talking geographically. So again, we're talking right now more toward southwest and south central Georgia with this accent, but we'll just continue to look here at our different scans as they come on in. I know I want to go ahead and go over to our parameters here. You do have some STP, significant parameter values, but they're not really co-located all that well, but the instability is. Those are just terribly high values. Not that we would have terrible severe weather, because we don't have everything coming together, but those are some really high values here. We're talking about some of that purple toward the Florida-Georgia border there, 5,000 joules per kilogram of energy. Just extreme instability we're talking about here, extremely unstable atmosphere. You don't have much to the south and east, but just up here, you can just see these numbers. These are just outrageous type of numbers here of storm energy around. We even had quite a bit this morning, which you generally don't have enough to support a severe potential. But we're looking at there around Bainbridge. Even if you don't get severe weather too bad there, we don't know for sure that you will or won't. But you have 5,000 joules per kilogram right now of storm energy, surface-based energy, surface-based capes. So that's just a lot to work with. To watch till 9. I said everything watch till 9 there. Let's see where else we want to go with this right now. I know go out toward Texas. There's actually a tornado watch in the Lone Star State. Nothing's really developed there yet. We'll have to just continue to watch the parameters, the different things here in the overall atmosphere. We have some higher significant tornado parameter values there toward the north, and we'll have to see if things come together. They look like on that mode they're coming together. Just have to really be able to kind of tap into the storms as they develop, if they develop here, into prominent structures. Those parameters would be really up there enough here to be more damage producing in terms of the storms that evolve. But Again, just going to keep looking. We have our logo red because of the bigger type of threats that we're dealing with here. So definitely a lot going on in the weather center now. Let me go ahead and go back on over to the analyst computer here. Looking northwest of Albany. Definitely have some wind enhancement there as we look. Let me go ahead and kind of jump in here and give you a little track. Some of this stuff's moving toward Albany over the next 15 to 30 minutes. So that rush hour, at least later on in that rush hour, being impacted here by these storms around Albany. Some higher populated areas here. Some severe weather potentially headed your way here in southwest, south central Georgia. A lot of lightning, but that's not what gets you a warning. It's that wind threat and the hail threat. Right now, we're talking about both of them actually, 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts and quarter size hail. So again, it's got to be kind of cognizant of what's going on as we're live right now, giving you this latest information on Facebook, on Twitter at Cloud Casey, YouTube, and Twitch. Yeah, the links available there as well at the top of the page on cloudweather.com. So just trying to kind of break that all down for you guys there in that regard. They're continuing the warning. Now, they just trimmed down the hail side a little with the latest updated statement, but they haven't excluded any counties, expired any counties. The warning until 6:15 still for portions of Calhoun, Doherty, Lee, Randolph, Terrell, and Worth. So again, it's a situation where we still have some nasty weather. We had all that nasty weather in Worth County this morning, some of the surrounding zones, and we're getting that threat again here. Hopefully, won't be quite as nasty as what we dealt with this morning. But as we look ahead, I know we're gonna have more threats. I mean, multiple rounds here, and we're gonna have heat mixing in too. So I mean, there's always a chance you could, if you were to have a situation where things became a little more enhanced over your area, and you lost power, it could be out a little bit longer, and then you might get kind of warm there in your home. So think about that. Make sure you turn off those devices, have that extra water on hand just in case. But this is more about South Georgia than it is about North Florida in terms of stuff like this, just so you guys know. But still, not what we want to see here as we're looking at things that are Doppler algorithms. So this is some interesting wind enhancement here. I know we're off the Tallahassee view. Just trying to give you the best look at things here. You have a couple of different areas of wind enhancement. One, this south side of Leesburg, Roy here. We're getting some greens and red trying to come together. We'll watch that to make sure nothing tightens up in terms of rotation. That's not what we're really seeing now, I wouldn't think. Another area here south of Sasser, southeast of Harold. We're just going to keep looking at it as well as that gets closer toward Albany proper. So that's something, again, to be looking out for there in about the next 15 minutes or so around Albany. So, again, not what you want to see, obviously, there in Doherty County. So, again, severe thunderstorm warnings in play right now. Trying to give you guys the latest information to protect you, your friends, and your family. So, quite a bit of lightning out there. Whenever thunder roars, you want to go indoors, no doubt. Going ahead and going on over now toward our other mode here. I will kind of try to give you guys a broad perspective on things. You don't see anything around Stark or Gainesville. Pretty dry today in north central Florida, it seems. So that's kind of what we're dealing with here at this point. So again, just trying to let you guys know. Try to let you guys know here what's happening as we go ahead and continue along with this coverage. So again, you can definitely see here we have some hail indications. We weren't getting this as much in some of the earlier storms around, but we're getting that right now. So just be mindful of that here as the day and the evening really goes on. So again, I'm still dealing with some of these yellows indicative of hail about an inch in diameter in terms of the maximum potential, but right now this would probably indicate more like 9/10 here, and it may start to drop a little on us since the warnings were about 7/10 or so in diameter, 7.5/10 of an inch of hail in diameter. So again, just continuing to watch things at 3/4 of an inch quarter size, or excuse me, just under quarter size, but just continuing to give you guys the latest here on what's going on. Showing you guys our different views here. Again, the pink is that severe thunderstorm watch until 9 o'clock. Severe thunderstorms are possible and close to the watch area. That's in Eastern time and towards Central time. We have some watches in play now. They were expecting to play at Game 3 of the Super Regional in baseball in Hattiesburg, Mississippi at 6 Eastern, or at least that was the hope, 5 Central. But the models were still in storms around this time. They had storms on Saturday that were a problem. They're having storms now, and that has been delayed here. College baseball Super Regional Game 3, the winner to Omaha there in the College World Series, Men's College World Series there. That game has been delayed for the time being as Southern Mississippi and Tennessee try to ultimately get that game in to see who moves on to the final eight in college baseball this season. But it looks like Storms are going to be around for a while there, and that's unfortunate there in the Pine Belt in that part of Mississippi around Hattiesburg. So, again, just trying to let you guys know exactly what we're dealing with right now. Let me go ahead and jump on over here to our other mode. You can see our Doppler there locally. You can kind of see and get an idea of what's going on here on that local level again. Definitely trying to let you guys know what's happening with our Doppler algorithms and just the overall movement of things. You can see here we now are being told actually there's a storm down to the south. I was watching. You see that one number on our hill. I think that's where they're going to go with a new warning. Let's see here. Colquitt, Mitchell, Tipton, Worth now to 6:15. So that's going to be a second warning now popping up on the board. And now we're at 5:37 p.m., not 5:37 a.m., but it almost feels like a repeat in some ways. What we dealt with this morning with these warnings just popping up. This time there's a watch and play though too, but at least for part of the areas into the warning accent. But you can see this severe thunderstorm warning now until at 6:15. So let's go to the latest mode. It's just all of a sudden strengthening there within this area here. I mean, different areas will get hit to some degree, but still, it's just interesting. Similar setup in some ways. So, East Central Metro, Northern Colquitt, Southwestern Tipton, Southern Worth until 6:15. At 5:37, a severe thunderstorm was located over Doran, or 12 miles northwest area of Moultrie, moving east about 35 miles an hour. So Tipton, Moultrie, Norman Park, Unionville, Phillipsburg, Sly, Funston, Sale City, Ellington, Bridgeboro, Minden, Scooterville, Anderson City, Sigsbee, Prentice, Poplar, Arbor Church, Cool Spring, Pineboro under this. So just having to deal with this thread here as we're again at a time that's a little bit busier on the roads. So just gotta be kind of mindful of that here too. Those roads definitely a little bit busier out there on this Monday evening per se at this point in time. So again, just trying to let you guys know what's happening. I'm just checking some more things here in our weather center because there's a lot happening here. Obviously, let's check some power outage numbers again. We're doing that this morning here in the course of some of our coverage. So about 4,362 customers in the dark in the state of Georgia. Ben Hill County 550. That's within our covered area. Not too many yet around Albany here. At least from the second round, I wouldn't think there may be a few that are lingering from earlier on. Hopefully not, but few customers showing up toward Albany, but nothing that's just overwhelming. 14 or so in the dark as of last check. But let's go ahead and zoom back out a little bit. I know see these two little boxes. Those are for severe thunderstorm conditions, and that threat here does continue until about 6:15 or so as we're looking. So just gotta be kind of paying attention here for sure. As that one threat toward the south does have that inside AO risk with it. So again, just trying to see here what we're being told and what we're seeing on our own here with the weather radar. Again, we're checking some different things here, some different metrics here and the like. I know these instability values are really excessive here, and that can be a problem here in terms of getting the storm axis down toward the surface, being more indicative here of that axis being able to get down toward the surface and cause damage in toward some of your neighborhoods here potentially. So again, you don't have to deal with that, but that's what we're dealing with here on this Monday. You see our colder cloud tops indicative of stronger, more vigorous activity here. So you just have to be kind of paying attention in terms of that here. for sure. You do not want to be messing around here with this type of activity. And just looking here again, there's the one right around Dover in there. You see here about an inch in diameter, a possibility. So we'll be watching that there in northern parts of Colquitt County, southern Worth County there. And you see moving off into Ward Tipp County there as well. So looking here northwest to Albany, hail a little bit smaller maybe on this on the latest assessment, but still pretty nasty weather moving toward Albany. We're being told now from a spotter and the spotter network. Let me see if I can actually pull them up here then. Let me double check things. Yeah, so right in here, we're being told, and it's gonna be, here we go, this gives you a better look. So right in there, where this car icon is, they're just starting to get into hail about 3/4 of an inch in diameter, apparently. A spotternetwork.org source saying that. So, spotter 2 miles southwest of Minden, Georgia, 3/4 of an inch in diameter hail size being reported there. You see them kind of moving around a little bit in toward that area. So, again, I'm just trying to let you guys know what's going on right now. I give you guys a look here at the latest. 3/4 of an inch is not severe. That used to be years ago. That's what they would issue warnings for, but they changed that to an inch. Now in the summertime, you would really get a bunch of extra warnings there for something that when you had 3/4 of an inch hail, maybe it wasn't really damaging in nature, so they went with an inch because that does have at least a potential to cause some damage here. Yeah, it would seem a little more often. So again, just trying to let you guys know what's going on. I'm checking some more things here in the Weather Center. It's a one-man band, so sometimes I'm at a loss for words. Just trying to check things. I'm kind of producing things, directing things as I talk to you guys, the viewer at home. So again, just something to kind of keep in mind here. So go ahead and say here that 1 hour rainfall estimate. Some of these spots about a half inch toward areas there northeast of Camilla, northwest of Moultrie, north of Albany, about an inch in the last hour. That's closer to Leesburg there in Lee County, Georgia. And you see over the last 12 hours, some of these are getting 3-4 inches as we're getting there north of Camilla, east of Camilla, even south there at Thomasville, about 3 inches there right near the state line. You see just north of Monticello there. You see Tallahassee, not near as much getting down that way, but and the widespread facets. So kind of interesting there in that regard. So again, just kind of intriguing here, trying to give you guys the latest, trying to let you guys know what is happening here. And you can hear our computer. It's had a busy day. I've had a busy day here in the Weather Center, but it's all about protecting you, your friends, and your family. So that's what we're trying to do here at Cloud to Weather right now. Protect you, protect your friends, and protect your family from these storms here that are impacting portions of the area. So again, we're going to go ahead and keep tracking things here, keep monitoring things. I'm just efforting the latest information here right now as I continue checking for some different updates. I know this can really be helpful here. They can really be helpful here to give you guys the very latest. It looks like some of these latest wind scans here, they may be coming in a little bit weaker. You just never know for sure. Even if you don't have what is a strong enough wind at the surface, sometimes there's a tree that the wind goes over that causes damage, and it can technically be what you would call severe thunderstorm damage because, I mean, the warning's in play there, and that tree fell, and wind, you can't tell. I mean, exactly. They're not gonna. It's not like a tornado survey situation where they're gonna be able to go out and look at every tree that fell and evaluate where they really occurred, I mean, and correlate things like that. So again, that's something to bear in mind. Definitely something to bear in mind here as we go ahead and zoom back on out. Go ahead and zoom back on out here. Trying to give you guys the latest. We're just trying to go ahead and switch sources here at this point. So let me go ahead and do that. You can kind of see I'm zooming this computer around a bit. Just trying to show you guys the very latest here on what's happening, on what's going on here. But trees can definitely fall at winds that are below severe limits. Sometimes you can get winds above severe limits and you get lucky right out of it anyway. and you don't have the magnitude of stuff that can happen there because of maybe population density. So you don't even know. I mean, if a tree falls, that's an old saying here, really. But if a tree falls there in a forest, and nobody's around, you don't know about it. So again, just continuing to watch things here, though. Look at some of our latest wind numbers, getting the latest update in there now. You don't see anything overwhelming, it doesn't seem, which is some good news, but obviously goes. So again, I'm talking about a situation where storms have to be over the sites and over to certain spots there to kind of record that damage here, or for that damage to be recorded in some fashion. So again, I'm looking here right now, looking at these temperatures here in the 80s, up at some spots still in the 90s. I know where we're at. We were about 92 degrees when I was looking just a little while ago here. We're not seeing the level of parameters in play here today for storms to be severe, probably toward the Stark area. But let me look here at our temperature. So yeah, we're still in the 90s here east of Stark on my recording station as well. So definitely a warm day here, but it's that meteorological summertime period, and we're gonna have that pattern where we kind of have warm temperature storms, and especially further north you go, and then kind of back and forth here. And if you were to unfortunately have a storm complex that is really destructive, and you lost that power here, for a little while, and you might heat back up to a pretty good and unfortunate number in terms of that heat on that thermometer, and then you could have some issues where people really are starting to get a little bit overheated. So, got to keep that in mind here as well. Let's see what we have on the Doppler right now. Seems like the winds aren't showing up as strong as they were earlier on. These storms look a little bit less robust. But right now, this one right here, I mean, this does not include Cook County at this point, but we'll watch it. Obviously, it looks like the worst of this would probably with this one go north of Adel, but we'll just have to wait and see. You can kind of see that path there. They put that on here, that little line for the next 60 minutes. Again, I haven't gone over this in a while, but 15 minutes estimate, 30 minutes here, 45 minutes here, 60 minutes out there. So just kind of give you guys an idea of what the path of this could be based on the current movement. And then I know we're switching the path to the south because I have to switch over for other storm, which has a little bit different movement. So that's kind of why, and it's a little confusing sometimes, but this is the path on this one here, and the wind storm motion. So we're just talking about areas here around Albany right about now being impacted here. Be interesting to see what they get at the airport in terms of wind. Let me just kind of see what we're being told here by that site over the next little bit, because it'd be kind of interesting just to see here what type of wind we're getting in there. Eventually, this could be getting closer to Sylvester, Tipton. So I know they'll have a decision to make here pretty soon. This warning here goes out till 6:15, just like the one to the south. And right now, I would, if I had to kind of guess here, I mean, we're kind of right on the edge if they would reissue. Let me take my track off because it's going to keep changing because I'm switching down to the south here, trying to get the best vantage point on one area or the other because there's a little bit different movement, and on one's more southeast to the north, and this one's more east. So it kind of changes the way the wind shows up, and then also our paths, obviously, a little different. But this stuff right here, it doesn't seem like the wind's showing up as strong as it did earlier. And some of this stuff today has been kind of reason we haven't come on for some of these warnings earlier, especially as we were looking some of that stuff in North Florida. This looked pretty marginal. Did get a little bit of hail out to quarter size there. Weather, but stuff, I mean, it's been marginal at times, and it ramps up, and if it ramps up enough, it come on. And then we wrap things up if it looks like it's kind of decaying again. That seems to be the case. Doesn't mean, as we highlighted earlier on, doesn't mean we can't have severe type damage officially here, even if the storms aren't as nasty with the wind down toward the surface. We also, I mean, we're not at the best height here on the radar, so sometimes things can look a little underwhelming from one radar. Another radar, it could be a different story. So let's go ahead and go to the Moody radar right now to see what it's showing. Let me go ahead and show you guys this vantage point here. We're going to go ahead and do that right now. And yeah, I'm not seeing a whole bunch. I mean, definitely could have a little bit of damage around southern Lee County. I mean, you already had the problems this morning, so another round of 50-mile-an-hour wind coming through isn't necessarily what you need there right there in southern Lee County. I mean, already having transformers there below this morning, it seemed there. That report toward the publics in southern Lee County. So you don't want to be messing around obviously here because stuff's already maybe a little more vulnerable than it generally would be. So I'm checking the latest information here. That's why we're kind of maybe my mic a little bit further away from me right now per se. So you might have a little bit of trouble hearing me. I'm trying to turn my head back a bit, but again, just trying to let you guys know of the latest here. I know that one report was pretty telling though in southern parts of Lee County this morning there. Where we did have 3 transformers below there near the public. So that's pretty interesting to hear about. And we're in that similar spot again, it would seem, based on our geography here of this area. So again, I just don't want to be messing around here for sure. Do not want to be messing around in this type of situation. I'll go ahead and just say here that these winds here showing up to about 50 miles an hour, give or take, here around this near US 19 as you're going from Leesburg to Albany or vice versa. So again, having to deal with that. Just check our other radar here as we really bear with me as I continue to give you guys the latest. It's one-man band. You're able to see right now. Looking here, we have a little bit of wind enhancement to the south now. It's about 50. And there's a bunch of areas here that we're seeing winds about 50. But honestly, not really seeing stuff that is just screaming severe. There's always a chance here to wrap it up. And we still get more warnings if we do so. And we don't leave them to come back on. We'll just post about them on Facebook and on Twitter for the time being. When those are coming on out, that's something we'll kind of be playing by ear over the next few moments. That's kind of the way I'm leaning right now. But Facebook, Casey Cloud, Every Accent Cloud, Weather, Twitter, Cloud Casey. So again, just letting you guys know. And of course, we cover 62 counties. So I know we're in Bradford, North Central Florida. Things are sunny outside here, but a different story in different parts of the area. So gotta bear that in mind. That's what we're on right now. So again, I'm looking here toward areas around Albany. We're kind of a little bit more muddied on that view. Let me go ahead and go to this view then and try to see what we're looking at there. Get those latest scans on in as the situation does transpire. I know we're just trying to let you guys know exactly what is happening here. What is happening. And again, things don't look as strong as they did. They look like they've decayed a little bit, which would be some good news. But as I go to other mode, it seems like, again, stuff's kind of sneaky here. Stuff's kind of sneaky on us, so you have to bear that in mind here, too. You just have to kind of look at things here, scan by scan, because we're still getting some of those hail signatures, which indicate a little bit stronger activity in and of itself. I mean, this isn't necessarily your typical summertime setup where you have to get it to a 1 here on these to indicate really vigorous convex and vigorous activity. But southwest of Cuthbert, we have a storm there. We're watching there. We have some stuff right around Albany. It's kind of a little bit stronger on this mode right now. As they're going to go ahead and drop Mitchell County, but continue Colquitt, Tifton, Worth until about 6:15. So, again, I'm just continuing to watch things here in the Weather Center. Again, trying to let you guys know the very latest here on what is happening. There's your polygon being trimmed back here. Still going inside here on 60-mile-an-hour wind potential. So at about 5:54, severe thunderstorms looking at Warren Park, or 10 miles northeast of Moultrie, moving east at about 35 miles an hour. Tifton, Moultrie, over toward Norman Park there, Phillipsburg, Unionville, Ellington, Cool Spring, Pineborough, Scooterville, and Crossland there under this. And this other warning, we're just getting an update on that now. And you see the update they come across. They just canceled out Calhoun, Randolph, and Terrell. Then continuing to severe thunderstorm warning for Doherty, Lee, and Worth. Portions of those counties till about 6:15 at 5:55. Severe thunderstorms located along a line there, extending It looks like from about 9 miles northwest of Sylvester to 10 miles west of Albany, moving east at 35 miles an hour. So Albany, East Albany, the Marine Corps Logistics Base, Turner City, Walker, Stocks, Radium Springs, Forester, Lockett Crossing, South Albany, Southwest Georgia Regional Airport, Palmyra, Ducker, Red Rock, Belima, and Doles. That 60-mile-an-hour wind gust, Penny-sized hail threat continues there. So definitely kind of intriguing here overall. So again, I just kind of trying to see here what's going on. I'm trying to type some things out here behind the scenes right now. We're just wanting to make sure we kind of give you everything you need. Give you all really the things that we know and really up to you. Use all the tools in the toolkit here on this Monday. So again, right now it seems like the strongest action is right here between about Albany and Putney. We're just gonna continue to watch things there. Let me go ahead and go on over here to weather mode. Right now it could just be just under severe limits. I know it's kind of right on the edge here. We could argue either way, I would say at this point. It's not something that's just sticking out like a sore thumb here that's severe, but we'll have to keep watching. The severe thunderstorm watch is in play till 9 o'clock, so I'm going to probably give a couple more scans, and if things look about the same or go downward in terms of not quite as concerning of intensities on these storms, I'll wrap the coverage up for now. We'll just play it by ear. It's in the tornado situation right now. I haven't had anything like that earlier today. We have to just stay on as mandatory or anything like that, as we always are on for any tornado warning storm to move through any one of our 62 counties. I've been doing that since late 2019 here. But again, watching things right now. I know we're going to have multiple rounds of storms. Hopefully things improve as we get closer to Father's Day, though. That'd be some good news. But earlier on in the picture, at least, that's not necessarily the case. So I just got to be kind of watching things. I know we have a tornado watch in Texas. That's going to go for a while tonight toward areas from about Waco westward to about 10 o'clock Central Time. So it's going to be a busy evening potentially over that way. Let me go ahead and move the map. Go down I-10. Look at all that storms around Hattiesburg. They're supposed to be playing baseball right now there. And deciding game 3 in the Super Regional between Tennessee and, of course, Southern Mississippi. But that's not going to be happening for a while, it wouldn't seem there. Looking out toward the west, you can see a tornado watch here in play. Brownwood, Killeen, and then over toward areas like Waco as well. Pretty small watch, no action on the radar yet, but we'll have to just watch to see how storms kind of develop here over the next little bit. So again, I'm still watching all of our different scans here. Let me go ahead and go back on over here to our other view. You can see southeast side Albany, still some stronger weather. Maybe there's some severe weather in there. I don't have any reports, anything too high from the airport. Only 21-mile-an-hour gust there here in the last few moments. Southwest Georgia Airport there, Albany. State Road 133, we could have some nastier weather around there. So that's something to keep our eyes on here for sure. Definitely keep your eyes on that. I know we'll be on here as needed. Make sure that go ahead and go to this graphic now. Make sure you hit that subscribe button there on YouTube and hit that bell icon to be notified when we come on for our next live stream here. Of course, we'll also, as in some cases, see situations that aren't quite as serious. We'll just post instead about the warnings there on Facebook, on Twitter there. So that's another kind of way, and those are other ways to get the important information. Looks like some stuff there toward the west around Coleman there in Georgia. We'll watch that, of course. We'll watch that here. We'll see how it kind of evolves one way or the other here. Whether we see upscale growth or not so much with it. We haven't looked at that product right today yet, so as good as EDR, we don't see a lot of upscale growth of this. Maybe a little bit right in here, though, closer toward Fleming Road and that area there in southwest Georgia. We'll watch to see how that kind of emerges, possibly, and then looking to the south of a little bit of scale growth on the leading edge here, it would seem, but nothing that's just as overwhelming. The lightning isn't as much in this storm as it is in this storm here, right on the edge of the warning. So really, at this point, I mean, they got a decision to make now. I mean, and I would lean against this, new warning. I go with the significant advisory. Doesn't mean we couldn't have and I say it's a severe report here. It's just it's kind of a tricky situation. You could argue either way. Maybe if we are getting some reports in that they haven't relayed out yet, then you do go with a new warning if we are getting like a bunch of issues around Albany. But Albany's kind of like a litmus test here. Whatever happens there in a more dense populated area there, you kind of maybe try to extrapolate that out here towards some of the outlying zones as the storm accent from this cluster here moves off toward the southeast there and northeast. They're about 35 miles an hour. So again, continuing to watch this and making a new warning here, and it's not out of the question. It's not something that's really overwhelming to me right now. The storming at State Road 133, looking there over toward some of the roadways, State Road 234, US 19 there. Southeast side Albany. Seems like the worst is passing downtown Albany at this point, but we'll just have to continue to monitor things here, obviously, here in the weather center. So I'm typing some different things out. That's what we're doing here on this Monday, this June 12th, 2023. It's all about giving you guys the latest, giving you guys all the knowledge that we have and passing it along to you, the viewer at home. So again, just trying to see here what's going on, making sure you guys know here what to expect, what's happening here. Just seeing if there's anything new here. Don't see anything new at this point, so that's good. I mean, at this juncture here in the coverage, we're just past 6, so still watching things. Definitely could get more warnings here. We still have the 2 input at 6:15. They just don't look quite as impressive as they did earlier on. That's good news. This stuff's moving out. In the case of this one here, out of the more populated areas, for the time being, this area here, it looks like it's going to cross I-75, maybe just south of Tipton towards that. There's still a warning that does technically include Tipton there for 6:15, but again, we're watching different movements, different time frames here. If we have more warnings, we'll let you know, either by posting about them, coming on. Sometimes we do both. We come on here after we post about them earlier on in the timeline. We see stuff that we need to just jump in for as the situation kind of evolves, and we'll make that call as needed as well. You have the auto alert account there on Twitter at Cloud Descriptive Reacts. That's helpful here. Of course, YouTube, another reminder, make sure you hit that subscribe button. It's free there on YouTube. You can be up to date here with the latest from me here in the Weather Center as I come on with the live stream. Then on YouTube, you can even back up the stream there. I use that DVR function. Maybe you missed something that I said here early on. Sometimes if we're taking breaks in between, you can see your latest update here from me from a little bit earlier on in the timeline. So I know it's just kind of a streaming portal that I prefer myself, but definitely all of them there are options for you guys at home. So just trying to pass it along. Still a lot of lightning here, Putney to Acre, Bridgeboro. Some winds 40 to 50, I would say. Probably not 60 at this point. But we'll keep watching, keep tracking. I mean, this went right over the airport area, really. Some of this accident. It would seem like we didn't get gusts out. We're just overwhelming. So that's going to do it for now. But obviously, we're on guard here. We're going to be on guard for the next couple of days. Maybe even longer than that. But Tuesday, Wednesday look a little more robust. Our logos are ready. Things are going to escalate a little bit, it would seem, in our forecast and our guidance that we do have. So just stay weather aware. We'll be here to get you through everything. But for now, meteorologist Casey Cloud here in the Weather Center. Thanks so much for tuning in and trusting me on this Monday.